Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smash Not Understanding the 90s. Um, for those who don't know or who weren't alive in the 1990s, it was a very great time. Everything had sex jokes, and everyone loved it, right? We had sex jokes in SpongeBob, Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, all of it, right? And this guy is saying that there's a game made by some women that was referencing the 1990s, and he's surprised that they have sex jokes in a game referencing the 1990s. Now, he's assuming that the game is for kids, which, we actually don't know anything about that. But what we do know is that the game is inspired by some 1990s style games. Now, why is that a little suspicious that this guy doesn't remember all the porn from the 90s? Well, because he's particularly being facetious. He's, as I said, this guy is an outsider. He is not an actual gamer. This guy will probably look at, Fingerprints wasn't a sex joke. Or Lord Farquaad wasn't a reference to something sexual. These are the guys that are saying that, sex jokes are bad, right? And that exposing kids to sex jokes is grooming them, which is hilarious when, any of these guys who remember their own childhood remember that they were exposed to it all the time, and allegedly they turned out fine, right? Were you groomed, Smash? Were you groomed, Master of the TDS? Is that why you're against this now, because you were groomed? Or is it because you got paid money by Russian investors, communists, in order to do your little shtick? I mean, you still haven't called out your own bot farm or Elon Musk's bot farm, even though everyone can see it for what it is. I mean, literally, you have people who look like they're incest clones of SmashJT orbiting Grums and sucking his dick every fucking day, and we're supposed to act like that's not a obvious bot farm. Like, come on, guys. Don't be retarded. Just admit that you do bot farming, and it'll be all right. I mean, if your enemies do it, isn't that a good excuse to do it, right? I mean, you do it, so why not just admit it at this point?
I would wonder if they would consider us streaming critiquing this situation as hate. I bet.
Well, no, I would criticize it. I would criticize you as retarded and also a faggot and also an incest product. I mean, your wife is your mother. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I am not going to lie about what my eyes see. Your mother, you are a literal motherfucker. You fuck your own mother, Smash. I am not going to pretend to unsee that imagery, okay? You are an incestuous pig, alright? It makes sense you also graduated from DeVry University. I mean, that's almost as big of an own as, as getting a gender studies degree. Honestly, I'd argue that that's even more of an own than a gender studies degree, because at least a gender studies degree has a job in teaching gender studies. What the fuck does whoever got a job from DeVry? That's why it's a scam, right? Nobody ever actually got anything good from it. That's why he's doing what he's doing now, because his degree is absolutely fucking worthless. He didn't even learn the fucking program, right? If he did, he could have been working on Grum's game instead of what he's doing right now, right? Because then, because Grums actually does need a programmer, he will pretend otherwise, but you can look at the state of Ember and tell that he doesn't know how to program, and until someone who is willing to work for him and suck his cock does, he's not actually going to ever work on it any meaningful way. You can put art in it, but there's got to be some code there, right? It's got to be a game, right? When your game is less functional than Avowed, and Avowed isn't really that, to be fair, Avowed isn't that dysfunctional, but it's not functional either, right? I enjoy the combat of Avowed, which is more than I can say for the Ember Dembo that technically exists. I mean, you have to pay $30 for it, and it's not even a real vertical slice yet. You know, for those who don't know what a vertical slice is, by the way, play the Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw demo. That's a vertical slice. That's what we're expecting. You know, and what's funny is Mecha Break came out, and it's literally the spitting image of what Ember would have been if Grums was a developer, and not just a publisher, or also known as a wallet. Yeah, that's the real issue. Grums doesn't know how to do any art or programming himself, so he has to pay other people to do it, but he also can't afford to do it on 600K for an MMO, and that's really the issue. He always wants to work on an MMO instead of like a good single player game like people actually want these days. Like, he keeps trying to push that people want live service. Like, that's why he was sucking Helldivers 2 dick earlier last year, right? And it's a good game, but it's not good because it's live service. Like, that's not how that works, right? You have to have a good game that and then the live service, you know, is just a way to sustain the content. And unfortunately, Helldivers 2 ruined that opportunity by not sustaining the content, continuously nerfing things that people liked, and you know, all that, right? People talk about like the whole community manager situation, as if that isn't like just like at most a symptom of the issue, right? I mean, the community manager like is part of the dev team, and the regards that people are like, oh, there's this out of control furry. Like, they're all furries. Like, why do you think that there's a bunch of furries on the community manager side? They're all fucking furries. That's a funny bit, right? So like, yeah.
I guarantee they're watching. They literally know everything I do. I'm telling you they do. I was
Well, I mean, isn't that a good thing that they're watching your content?
posting that I was going to reveal things on them, and in real time, I watched articles disappear. I kid you not. I watched.
I believe it.
There were articles specifically talking about how the Game Baker's game had gotten funding from the CNC.
All right, so there's articles that were saying something, and then but did those articles actually link to direct financial sources that proved anything, or were they tabloid urinalist bullshit that you fell for and got trolled by? Because, you know, you guys run a tabloid bullshit, right? You've run right-wing Kotaku, which is just Kotaku, right? Because Kotaku, the problem with Kotaku isn't the politics, it's that they are tabloid urinalists. Like, it doesn't matter the politics. The fact that you guys are sensationalist rather than actual proper journalists is the real issue. And that was always the issue with the listener Conte and Kotaku in general. In fact, you can go back way before Gamergate. They were being called out by Total Biscuit in 2011. In fact, they were called out before then. I just can't really find out when specifically. But in 2011, he literally gets Vietnam flashbacks at the mention of Kotaku, saying that the Gawker Media Group, which is the people who own them, were always shit-stirring trolls, and he coined the term nerd baiting at that time, which referred to their form of clickbaiting by creating obnoxious, clearly obtuse, wrong titles in order to make money. Now, this guy will not watch what I say because he knows that I actually know a lot more about him than he does me, and not in a fun way for him, right? Smash, like I said, is an incestuous cunt. You know, I know a lot about these lolcows, right? Because I just pay attention past their videos and their Twitter feed, right? And it's they don't like that I do that, right? They don't like that I notice the bot farms that they also pull and all that, because it ruins their argument for some reason, even though I don't really think anyone really cares about the arguments. People just want to shit on people, and they don't get that, apparently. They think that there is a moral reason why people watch them, and not that people are edgelords and they want to shit on everyone, and that they don't actually care about any of your views at all.
disappeared.
these people think their audience actually agrees with them politically rather than the fact that they're willing to say edgy, offensive things, right? That's the real meat and potatoes on that, right? Like, you would think that they would have learned by Trump literally conning them twice into that, where like all he did was change the language from for the DEI bullshit, and did what every progressive Democrat has done for decades, which is change the words but do the exact same thing over again, and just hide it a little better next time. And apparently people forgot that the far left Democrat from 2005, that's who Trump was, and who Trump remains, right? But Trump is also not dumb, right? Because that's really the thing. And of course, 2005 had a few edgelord Democrats, right? So these people don't understand that Trump is actually extremely far left, but he's like the Sam Hyde leftist, where he will say as many slurs as he can, but he will literally just implement communism, right? These guys are paid by Russia, but they probably don't understand that they are, because, one, I mean, this guy's a product of incest, like I said. If he ever has any kids, that like his mother is his wife, right? Let's not pretend we don't have eyeballs, right?
And at a certain point, I tried to click their About Me page.
I mean, is George actually not just his child, right? This is the funny thing, right? Grumps has so many people orbiting him that are just fat gay Mexicans that look exactly like this, right? And it's weird, usually people don't have a type when it comes to their user base, right? But Grumps has a type. It is morbidly obese, failed DeVry students that are Mexican and incestuous. It's a very weird type to have, but apparently Grumps has a type.
Not load.
Wow. So you got IP banned from them.
And that's sort of the thing, right? Like, people, this guy will be like, "Oh, you love McDizzle," like dog. McDizzle ain't got nothing on me. You think McDizzle's got you on your ass? Trust me, I can get on your ass harder. So if you want to give me free content and unlimited sponsorships, please do. I will love to battle you in the true autism arena. You will not come on top. Master of the TDS fears my autism because he's seen me a bit and he knows. So yeah, Mash. Just so you know, I'm coming for you, and Master of the TDS, you should warn him a bit about my spurting abilities. You know them, and you know damn well that I do not take anyone alive, right? My battle with Smash will be legendary, and it will consume all.
I posted that, I was noticing, wait a minute. This article I had...
Remember, I'm currently battling a dude and his entire audience with my channel, right? In an 85-hour Spurgoff with just the dude, and then several hours with every single member of his Yes Man bot audience, right? Just looking at their channels, just looking at how low their intelligence is, finding one video that I think is really funny to shit on each of theirs, and shitting on them, while continuing to do a 5-hour Spurgout session with 1 hour of his 17-hour bullshit video on why Resident Evil 4 Remake is somehow the worst game ever made. Which is funny because there are far worse games being made right now, right? I don't think Avowed is a bad game. I think it's a very mid game and nowhere near worth the fucking $70 price tag. I think Game Pass, the reason why there's so many people who tolerate it is actually Game Pass, right? Game Pass is $20, right? And I think it's worth $20, especially considering you get other things as well besides Avowed. And, so $20 and you get a bunch of other stuff too. So it's technically a fraction of the $20 that you paid, right? Or, like I said, I played on the Fit Girl repack because I'm not paying for that shit, right? So I'd say for free or a fraction of $20, it's actually a pretty good game. But remember, I'm talking about like price to like dollar to, as in like if you pay $120 for that piece of shit, like it's a piece of shit. If you pay $20, well, it's not really a piece of shit. It's actually kind of fine, right? And if you pay nothing, it's a pretty fun game.
Also, the official website for I didn't mention this. I should have mentioned. I meant to mention this. The official website for Audrey the Prince is scrubbed now too.
Interesting.
Okay. Let me go look that up. So Audrey the Prince. I have to. All right. Gonna go Edge. Right, go to Edge. Okay, Audrey the Prince. Hey, yeah. I mean, I guess I can't find it. I see Descendants. If like, I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but otherwise, yeah, I don't see that. Or maybe I spelled it wrong. I mean, I'm being honest. What he's looking at, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking. Like, how do we know it didn't just fucking run out of money? Like that's another thing, right? Like, why would they talk about it if it's more once? Like, because you will take websites down once you're like, well, I'm not gonna even be able to fucking release this, right? So if it's the website for a game, is it taken down because it's is it taken down because there's some problematic thing, or is it taken down because it doesn't have enough money to come out? Because there's two different ways to look at that. And the way I would look at it is it's probably they can't afford to release it. And so the website, which also costs money, was also taken down to save money, right? That's how a reasonable person with intellect that isn't sub-Haitian would do. Right? I just realized I had my Twitch stats on there. Yeah, I got 23 followers. I just started like a couple weeks ago, so I'm actually going pretty fast. Not really the fastest, but I mean, I've been playing Avowed instead of the Metroidvanias I usually play. I have not gained a single follower while playing Avowed, so that's probably why. Like I said, I don't think it's a great game. I don't think it's a terrible game, but I can understand why people don't like it, right? It's definitely not worth the full price, and I'll go back to Metroidvanias and Marvel Rivals again soon. I was gonna do Monster Hunter Wilds, but my girlfriend didn't want to play it. She wanted to play Tears of the Kingdom and finish that up, and then now I had to actually refund my copy, so I can't play that no more because I had to do that to afford some more groceries. And I wasn't refunding her copy without her permission, so I asked her, and she said she wanted to play it after the game. And I also realized too late how far she was in the game. She's fucking doing a powerhouse fucking thing, right? I mean, like to put this in perspective, 3 days ago she had like 5 hearts. Now she has she just did her first dungeon. But she has like almost all the fucking hearts in the game already. Like she has like a couple shrines left, a full stamina wheel, and just finished the first dungeon. I think like she literally will like she's literally like almost 100% of the game minus the fucking poop percent, right? I mean, I'm poop percent in Tears of the Kingdom might as well be a fucking like the 100% run because getting all 900 Koroks is far more of a time waster than anything else. And the reason why it's called poop percent is because you literally you get all the upgrades very early, and then like the last thing you get is just a piece of shit. Like I'm not calling it that as just a joke. It is a joke, but I'm not calling that purely as a joke. That's literally what the game gives you. Like almost all the side quests gave you something that was worth jack shit when they were like the long ones. Like, I mean, I think we all remember the gold Scatula is like 200 rupees, as if that is actually a good thing when you no longer need to have rupees because you've already gotten everything that costs money in the game. But yeah.
Actually, I think if you go there, if you type in her name now, let me see, and you go to the Institute for France, right?
Yeah.
It now says
So Kotoro and Mon. Oh, right. I need to look at that because that's mono, right? No, it's 17 plus, so it's in a game for adults actually. So just so you know, the game is actually factually for adults. Now it is still weird because, like I said, games like this would be made for kids in the 90s, but no, this is actually an adult's game. Now it might be not just the sex jokes; it might also be because like his thing about this was like I remember playing this as a kid on the NES in the 80s, right? Well, yeah, that was the 1980s, right? Now imagine that, right? A game made to give nostalgia to people from the 1980s. All right, how old is someone who has nostalgia for the 1980s? Well, they'd probably be a kid in the 1980s. So we can do the math, right? Let's say you were 6 when the game came out, and that was 85 or whatever, right? So you were 6 in 85. And so now we have 40 years have passed. So you're 46, right? So 46-year-old people is who the game is targeted towards. I'd argue that 46-year-olds are not little kids, right? Now, you might not have nostalgia for the 80s, which is kind of weird. I mean, I have nostalgia for the fucking 80s, and I wasn't even there. I wasn't born until the not early 90s, and I didn't really have like any sentience to play a video game until 1999, right? First game was actually Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Aladdin on the Genesis, and then my first like big game was Ocarina of Time. Now the first game I beat was Shining Force on the Dreamcast port that they did with like all the discs that had Shinobi 3 or was it 4 and Vector Man and Virtual Cop and stuff, right? I played the fucking shit out of Shining Force. And the thing is, my Dreamcast got like some fucked up shit, so I couldn't even fucking save the game. So I had to, I had to fucking like beat that all in one fucking sitting, right? So when you realize how much I had to like know the ins and outs of that game as a fucking 8-year-old snot boy loser, I did. I did. I knew every corner and crevice of that fucking thing. It was a great game. Yeah.
Let's see.
But that's kind of sort of the thing. Like, these guys are like, I must get excited for something else. I can't just go back to the things I played as a kid, but like more adult or whatever. This is what this is. This is a nostalgia bait game, so it's for adults, right? He thinks it's for kids because he can't understand that people have like this is a good way to say this, right? This would be like saying someone because Symphony of Night was something a lot of kids played when I was a kid, right? That nobody who wants to play like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is of course a nostalgia bait game for Symphony of the Night fans. It's literally made by the same fucking guy. It's great, by the way. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is an awesome game. Fully recommended. But yeah, it's a nostalgia bait game, which means that it's for people who grew up with games like this and want to play them again.
You must authenticate yourself to view this page.
Yeah, you've been IP banned. It sounds like.
No, because I can go to our missions and programs.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we?
Oh, and that works?
And that works fine.
Interesting.
It's only the page.
Hold up. Whoa. Did you just see that?
Yeah, it's a game for adults that has a dildo. Games for kids had dildos in them too. I mean, how many butt jokes and fart jokes were in fucking what was it? Earthworm Jim. Also, let's not forget all the butt jokes and sex jokes in Animaniacs, SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents. Ed and Eddie even had a couple, not really anywhere near as much as the others, to be fair. Just all like so many, right? I mean, granted, this was also like back in the time when Teen Nick was run by a literal pedophile. So say what you want there. You also had, of course, Ren and Stimpy, who you guys were on side scrollers, right? Apparently, you guys are insulting Ren and Stimpy there. I don't know. I saw the Real Game Awards, right? I saw that, and the thing was clearly like supposed to be memorizing the style of Ren and Stimpy, which was very much a sexual show. Now, it obviously wasn't as sexual as the adult parody that the guy made later. It wasn't as blatantly sexual, I guess, but it had plenty of sex jokes. Cat Dog is another one. Like, it's weird because like I remember all of this because I'm not like demented. I don't suffer from Alzheimer's or anything. Maybe you guys need to like check to make sure you guys don't suffer from Alzheimer's. You're getting old, right? I mean, SmashJT thinks his mother is his wife, so we can go just from there as to there's something wrong with their heads,
What?
Did you just see that?
See what?
What the fuck was that in the background?
It's a game for adults, so it has a dildo.
Gigantic fucking penis.
Like I'm not even fucking lying. Look. 17 plus. So 17 plus means adults because where this is made is Brazil, I'm gonna guess. In Brazil, that's their age of consent. So remember, adults in other countries tend to be a little lower. It tends to be 16 in most countries. So 16, 17 is basically the 18 plus of other countries, right? Like in UK, it's 16, right? So remember. The 18 thing is only a thing in certain United States and certain other countries. It's usually 16 as the standard. It's 12 in like some Islamic countries, which is fucked up beyond belief. And in a couple, it's even the age of puberty, which for those who don't know why that's fucked up. Precocious the reason why puberty blockers even exist as a medication isn't for trans stuff. It's for preventing precocious puberty in people who have that rare genetic condition. I'd argue that the only reason it's applied to trans people in the first place, by the way, is because they need to make more money, and those drugs were expensive to research, and so obviously someone's got to get using it, right? And I've said it before, I don't actually think that's a good thing, but many people fall for that, I guess. I think it's just a scam by doctors to get money from depressed people. I don't think depressed kids should be treated the same as depressed adults, that's just my thing, right? Because gender dysphoria is a form of depression. Now, for me, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. If I think, and I do, that me transitioning into a different gender is okay, then I'm an adult. I can do that. But a kid should not be doing that. But this is a game for adults. Like, if a kid plays this, that means that they have to, on their like phone or Steam or whatever, lie to the people and say they're an adult, which to be fair, kids do all the time. But the other thing is, it also means that parents aren't taking care of their kids. And so here's the thing, right? Is the iStore or the Play Store supposed to take care of your kids, or is the parents' job, right? For me, I view it as the parents' job. I actually fucking loathe Karens who try to make it the game developer's job. But yeah, so this isn't a thing for kids. This is a product for adults. A game for adults that had, like, another thing, right? I've played many Flash games that were worse than this too. To be fair, Pico's School is probably like notorious for this, and the only reason I was able to play that is because my parents weren't watching me. If my parents saw that I was playing a school shooting simulator, never mind the fact that there's like porn jokes, all the blood that was in it, and a trans villain that gets fucking turns into a naked furry at the end. If my parents saw that, they would have fucking kicked me off immediately. But that was how the 90s were, my guy. That it was a free Flash game on Newgrounds.com, one of the launch games actually. And that was like what a lot of kids played when I was a kid, right? And we would go into like middle school talking about all the new Flash games on Newgrounds, and one of them would be like a bird that's like a baby bird that spits blood at its enemies, and tries not to get eaten. Yeah, like the internet was a wild time, right? And this is kind of a product of a lot of that, right? You might like. In fact, a lot of this also kind of goes to retarded animal babies, kind of fear of the internet and stuff like that. Like I remember a lot of stuff from when I was a kid that this guy will probably freak the fuck out on, and I'm like, dog, like that's just how things were. If you didn't know, you probably should have paid attention to that instead of what you were doing at DeVry. I don't know, twiddling your thumbs, learning how to put essential oils up your butt. I don't know, something, right? You're being a Karen, so I guess essential oils up your butthole isn't really necessarily an insult. In fact, what does that mean? Like your chakras realign or something? I don't know. I'm not a Karen, so I don't know what like how your species acts, but yeah. I mean, all I know is that you annoy me by stirring shit up at Walmart until the police are called and you have to be removed from the facility.
Dude, yeah, but this looks like a game made for kids.
It's not made for kids at all.
I thought that this was like a game for like 7.
Who told you that?
Are we really surprised, Smash, that they do these kinds of things at this point?
What the fuck? And we're the bad guys? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, you're the bad guys because you are saying that a 17 plus rated game is for kids.
What is this?
A 17 plus rated game.
Looks as traumatized as I feel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought this is a freaking like.
No, see, you're going based off of the genre of the gameplay rather than looking up the game and seeing like what the age rating is, like a normal fucking person would do when they saw something like that in a trailer. So I did that, and it took me 1 second. I saw the title, I typed it in my browser, and then I saw that it said 17 plus on the ratings.
This is a ripoff of Where's Waldo on the NES.
Well, I don't know if it's a ripoff. I mean, it's definitely inspired by Where's Waldo on the NES.
For like 10-year-olds, maybe.
Well, you say it's made for 10-year-olds, but who is 10-year-olds that's playing it, right? Like you're implying that your little kid is only playing NES games, or that they are playing NES games at all, right? No, like people who are playing Where's Waldo clones are in their 40s, like you are,
And it's like,
or maybe 30s, right? But they're not little kids. So this is a game for adults that is for nostalgia bait for people who liked Where's Waldo in the 80s, right? And the people who grew up with 80s games are you age people, right? So yeah, just so you know, that's what it actually is.
my daughter.
Like your daughter should not be playing this, absolutely. And in fact, this game is not marketed to her at all. You can tell because the game is rated 17 plus. If it was marketed towards her, why would it be rated 17 plus? Now, if she plays it, that would mean that you let her play a game for people that are supposed to be 17 plus. So if that happened, you would be the groomer because you would be letting the kid play games for adults and be fine with that. Which if you do that, that's on you, not on the developers. Because you would be the groomer then, because you were the one allowing it to happen by enabling that behavior in the first place. This is why the whole parents need to be parents thing should be like the supreme dialogue on stuff like this.
Like what? And then a Pikachu in the front that looks, like you said, very unnerving.
And it looks like a Pikachu.
This is sending a lot of mixed messages.
Well, yeah, the mixed messages are that it's a game for 17 plus, but it looks like something that you would play as a kid because the game is meant to be played by people who grew up with this when they were kids and are adults now. So now you are an adult, and this would be a game you played as a kid. So you're memorizing stuff you played as a kid while still having edgy adult humor that you wouldn't really have at 6 years old. Although, to be fair, we all actually did because, as I said, kids were not exactly as edge-free as Karens like this one would proclaim. We were the ones watching South Park at 6, seeing all the shit and porn jokes in that at 6 years old. Now, was it meant for us? No, but we watched it anyway, because who the fuck was gonna stop us, right? Like that's just how it is, right? It doesn't, like, if it's meant for adults, right, then it doesn't matter that kids probably use it, because that means that the parents aren't being parents, or that the parents trust the product isn't going to actually do anything. So it's on the parents, not the developers.
No, hold on, real quick too. The top right. What the fuck's going on up there? Like,
That would be a parody of Creation Day Adam. So you can actually look at that up. This is actually it's actually a thing, right? That was painted by Michelangelo, right? And this is like a cartoon parody of that specific thing. So if you look at that, so we got like a little kid version parody of this. Now, if you look at this, right, this is in the Sistine Chapel, right? Very famous church. He's got a little pee-pee, right? So like the whole thing, actually, this is more censored than the actual painting. Because in the painting, Adam has a little pee-pee, and there he has a little thing covering his little pee-pee, right? But yeah, this is Creation Day Adam. It's in the Sistine Chapel, one of the many paintings in the Sistine Chapel. You should actually look at the Sistine Chapel. It's an amazing church, by the way. You should go there. Many people do with their kids, believe it or not, to this day. Because unlike you, most societies aren't actually sex negative when it comes to things like that, especially when it's religious connotations.
And what?
Reaching at Pikachu, and it's almost like trying to do the man touching
God thing.
Yeah, your Michelangelo.
It's funny how he knows it's by Michelangelo, but he doesn't know it's called Creation Day Adam, or Creation of Adam, if you want to use an English title. Well, actually, no, I've said it wrong. It's Cresino di Adamo, right? Is the proper name, right? It's also called The Creation of Man, and yeah, it's by Michelangelo, and it's one of the many parts of the Sistine Chapel. It's not called the Sistine Chapel. A lot of people mistake that it's one of the paintings. Another is, of course, The Last Judgment, and a few others. Yeah. Now, of course, that's not his magnum. Like, that church is his magnum opus. Now, for me, I prefer, like, a lot of people like his, like, statue of David, right? Like, David, right? This is the statue of David by Michelangelo, right here, right? Which also has a little peepee, right? Like, I'm not going to show that one, but like, this is the statue of David, right? Now, of course, I prefer a different one, which is by Bernini, and you'll see why when I show it to you. Like, this guy's like, it's actually like, so the one like that most people see is the one where it's like post kill, which is the one by Michelangelo. This is what I call peri-mortem, where he's about to, like, this is when he's revving up that slingshot. You can see like he's got like a fucking terrifying, menacing face. Like, he is putting his all on. Also, look, feet. Another thing, notice this. A lot of old statues, especially Renaissance and Baroque period statues, have this thing known as a Morton's toe or a Greek foot. The reason why it's called the Greek foot is a lot of Greek people have this genetic stuff where their second toe is their longest toe, and it kind of like goes up from the big toe to the second toe, and then down like a massive curve instead of like the slight curve like you see in the Celtic foot. Actually, showed that too. Foot types, right? So like, you can actually look this up. Like, there's people, like, there are different kinds of feet, right? Oh, that's not what actually. Yeah, here we go. So like, you got the Greek foot, right? Which is usually known as the sexy foot. That's what you usually see in like foot porn too, right? whatever the fuck, like news. I don't care. And then you have like square tape. This is the most disgusting kind of foot. Egyptian foot, where it's like just kind of just goes down and straight, and then you have the Egyptian, and then you like so these are like different types. This is Celtic, not really. I call it square, call it Celtic. See if they have like a better like chart. Yeah, so there we go. So Roman, Celtic, Greek, Egyptian. I guess this is called the square, but I always heard this one called the Celtic. I find this one disgusting. It's too symmetrical. This one's the hottest one, right? This one can be kind of cool. This one can be kind of cool, but this one is the sexy foot, right? This is the one where like they call it the Greek foot because like you got the foot of a Greek goddess, right? Yeah, if you're a foot fetishist, you love that one specifically. Number 3.
What is happening right now?
I feel bad for that Pikachu. Can we rescue him?
I don't know. I mean, Pikachu has seen way more haunting things than this.
Feel bad for.
I mean, I've seen some of those things. I've seen some flash kits actually.
The Pikachu. The rest of them can stay. I don't care.
You know what's funny is I've noticed that these guys just don't know internet culture. It seems, right? Like these guys. Let me like show you like what I mean. I'm gonna show you Pico School, right? Because I think like this needs to be studied. Like this came out in 1999, right? So this is like the cast, right? You got Pico right there with his assault rifle, Cassandra right here, the trans furry character. I forget the ninja guy. This guy's Albert, and I forget like these two. Then there's Albert. And then there's the Cassandra, who's the trans villain at the end. Yeah, if you actually like, Cassandra. This is the villain, by the way. Yeah. It is the thing. Like this was like one of the first trans characters in the video games. Just fucking school shooter. It's kind of funny. That was a very much a thing that didn't even happen until that one church shooting. It's like funny, like people were joking about this long before one ever happened, just because they thought it was funny, right? And like the little peep there. It's actually her weak spot too. That's how you know she's trans at the end too. Like they reveal it as she turns into a giant furry and she has a little peepee. So. That's like how you know she's trans in the game. It's not anything like they dwell on it or anything. They just show that she has a peepee in a monster form, and that's it. That was like how you know, like back in the 90s, people wrote their characters better. Like, hey, how do we know she's trans? Oh, we're just gonna make a joke about a girl with a peepee, and that's it. That's it. Like that's all they had to do. They didn't have to like dwell on like trauma or anything. They're just like, hey, this chick got a peepee, she's trans. That's how you know.
Just like save the Pikachu.
Like I said, that came out in '99. One of the first Flash games, and yeah, very much a very good game. You should play it. It's on Newgrounds still, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's still on Newgrounds by Tom Fulp. Yep, it says 2006. It came out in 1999, though. Remember, Newgrounds had a reboot in 2006. Also, you notice this site still uses the Pogger star system. So, like, you'll see, like, 5 stars. With that, so, if I'm not logging in right now, I'd have to create a new account because, like, my old account was, like, from, like, the early 2000s. I think, like I said, they did update the site since I made an account completely, so I don't think my old account will work. Even if I can remember all of my information, which I also don't think I can. But like seeing the 5 stars. Now you notice 5 stars. Not everything has a star though. There is a 0-star rating you can do on Newgrounds, which is the coolest part. Technically 6 stars. So there's a great. So there's fan-fucking-tastic, great, good, okay, bad, and then there is one more rating called 0. And for those who don't know what zero meant, it meant blam this piece of shit. That's what it stood for, right? And blam meant get this fucking thing off the site, right? So a 0 rating on Newgrounds means they will delete the thing because people don't like it. Fun fact. Fun fact that's how that's an actual system on Newgrounds.
Messages. It's like it's okay for them to do whatever the fuck they want because they're women.
Well, no, it's actually okay for them to do what they want because they do it and they don't actually care. So this is the thing, right? You care what people think about you, they don't, so they win, right? That's how it works, right? You think that people criticizing you on Twitter matters, and people with brains know that that isn't true. So you are a Twitter freak, they are not. Right? You guys actually think Twitter is a real place now. I don't know how it happened to Master of the TDS. SmashJT, I mean, you're an incestuous pig. That's pretty obvious. But Master of the TDS kind of disappoints me because he would dunk on Twitter freaks when the left owned Twitter. I don't know how you didn't realize that the right running Twitter just meant that the right would become the new Twitter freaks, and that ever siding with Twitter is always a bad thing. But he apparently decided to side with Twitter, and that's why he hangs out with lolcows. I'm just gonna show you some famous people he is now in tune with, because I think that's cool, right? Let's go see it. First off, let's go to the ultimate one, Elon Musk. The pedophile owner of Twitter. Let me actually see if I can find the specific tweet that really fucking bothers me. It's the first one on one of these later pages that I do know. In for something. If we go back far enough, it'll be the first, on the top of the page, there'll be something where he talks about roping his hair. Yeah, it's obviously the site's very racist and stuff. It's fine. This is how edgelords actually used to be. They used to actually be completely edgy, and most of us still are. We just use anonymity because it turns out that's how you actually survive on the internet. Remaining anonymous. It turns out that that's actually how that's actually the real superpower of the internet. That's why SmashJT is a fucking loser. People know his name, and he's open about that. You should not do that. I'm just saying, once people find out who you are fucking finished. You might think otherwise, but no, that's actually when you lose all your power on the internet. And anonymity is power on the internet. It is the ultimate power as well. People made this fucking joke on his billboard. For those who are wondering how that hack happened, where they just hacked it, they didn't hack it. That was just posted because Elon did a contest, and that's what won, right? So for those thinking that anyone takes Elon seriously, that's what won his little contest. Okay. Yeah, obviously, yeah, pedophile tag. This is very much. This is probably the funniest one. Also, yeah, Trini Chaser. He's like many Trini Chasers. He's both transphobic and very much into Futanari once he logs off, right? He's sort of like the people J.K. Rowling simps over. For those who don't know, Jesse Signal and Glinner are also big Trini Chasers. Which should be kind of funny, the people that J.K. Rowling is basing her entire transphobic worldview about, where she's literally retweeting literal Nazi conspiracies to own the Troons, is literally people who fuck with trans people so much their wives leave them. right? Like Glinner doesn't hate trans people because he hates trans people. He hates trans people because his wife left him for his tranny cock addiction, right? Like I like there is a pedophile like a proof that that like there's plenty of it that's been posted. I just kind of want this one specific image, right? There is one specific image that I want to show you guys, and it is like just this one specific image that I'm trying to find. It's a oh yeah, like this is a thing too. This isn't even what I'm talking about, right? This is just you know, like yeah, he role played as his 3-year-old kid. Now it says weeb, but it doesn't say furry here, so they apparently don't know as much as I do about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a massive fur fag as well. He has a mouse persona, a fascination. He doesn't have a mouse persona. I forget what his actual persona was. Yeah. By the way, when I say he paid me, he didn't pay me, but he did contact one of my friends. So, I could ask them like what it was about, but it probably wasn't a persona because you know when you're that big, you actually can't necessarily have a persona, right? Especially when you're on the right wing. Like on the left wing, it's probably easier, but even then, really not really. The thing is, even though furries are fairly mainstream, yeah. So like you've already seen me scroll by some of the more egregious pedophile evidence here, but there's one like where it's just like he admits to groping his own kid. I kind of want to specifically talk about that one, and I guess it's oh, that one's kind of funny. Oh yeah, here it is, right? I thought it was at the top, but yeah, here it is. So he talks about groping his little baby boy. So he's openly a pedophile. So there's the big one. So the owner of Twitter is a child molester, just openly so, confirmed by his own lips. And then we have the Rift Wars. You get a few. Got Grums. Grums is tagged with pedophile. I don't really know what that's about. It's lolicon for him. I don't really consider that pedophilia. I get like it's adjacent, sure, but it's not real pedophilia. I'm just exposing the pedophiles. Obviously, Devin is a massive spurg, but big difference. Where is it? So yeah, Razor Fist, big pedo. Like Mark Kern's a scammer. I wouldn't call him a fucking pedophile, but apparently, like he's tagged with that. I have no, like, do they? They might be something they know that I don't. And I'm like, I'm like big in like the thing. Like obviously, people know how deep my hatred of Grums goes. Not really hatred. I just think he should be forced to make his fucking game. I try to use scare tactics by literally reporting him to the FBI to do it, and I didn't lie in any part of the report, which is why, despite being a year later, it's the year anniversary of me making that video, and Mark Kern has not done shit to me, and the reason why is because he actually has to make his game. Because if you actually watch the video, I reported the fact that he never fucking worked on his game. And he actually can't report me specifically because of that. Also, yeah, quartering, massive locale, pedophile, all that. But I don't think any of them worked with this loser, right? It's weird. This guy is a pedophile. He is openly for child molestation, and that is true. I know the cuck actually, because I am the cuck, right? I am the one who fucked his wife, right? I have said this before, and I will say it again. I am the pizza man, right? The pizza man came, and it was in the quartering's wife's vagina. All right. So just so you know, quartering is not just a cuck. I know who cucked him because I am that person. So he not only got his ass whooped by a trans woman, he got his wife fucked by a trans woman too. He's a massive fucking cuck. The cuckoldry of the quartering knows no bounds. He is a pedophile too, though. The same video that came out that I always use as evidence of when I cucked him, that's actually not. But like, the timing is too. Maybe there are multiple pizza men. Actually, I have to actually check. my old workplace. Maybe there's multiple pizza men who all fuck Cordoran's wife. So maybe that is actually true, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, Jeremy Hambley, Razor Fist, Mark Kern, Devin, Elon Musk. I don't think V is a lolcow. I think this guy really shouldn't be one because all it is he's a massive gooner. This is literally lolicon shit, isn't it? What are you talking about pedophile here? This is lolicon, right? Yeah, this is just lolicon. Yeah, I don't really care. Like if it's cartoon, like, this is the funny thing. I will apply the same standard to like this game, even if it was for kids, because I grew up with kids media in the '90s, and that was like far worse than a fucking dildo on the background. So as a person who has grown up with far worse and is fine, I don't really like think that that's really anything to worry about. But like that's the thing. Like I will defend Lolicon for that reason alone. Like yeah, it's not even as bad as shit I saw as a kid. And that's Lolicon. Like that's like literal like drawn child porn, effectively, right? And that's the thing. Yeah, it's fine. It's not real, right? I'm not into it, but if people are into it, I don't really care, right? But I'm trying to see if there's anyone else, right? That's just a lol. Like there are people who aren't lolcows, right? And then there's people who are lolcows. Like V isn't. I don't think V counts as a lolcow. That's like my thing, right? That's the Grift Wars, but there's also parts in Internet Famous as well. You got Rev Says Desu is one of them. I don't think he'll pop up right away, but he's on here. No, apparently they moved him or something. No longer in Internet Famous. Or maybe I'm like, his name's Lewis. Let's see. Lewis. Dear God, yeah. Yeah, you will also find out a lot of people's real names here. Was it in Grift Wars then? Lewis. Yeah, it's Lewis Testone Jr. is his name. That's what I know. He has a pretty poggers name, I'll be honest. Like, he may be a massive fucking lolcow, but I mean, his name is fucking sad as fuck, to be honest. He also looks pretty good. Like, I expected him to look, like, especially when it says married to a fat bitch, I expected this guy to look, like, pretty freaky deaky, and then he, like, doesn't even look that fucking bad. Just in lolcows, then? Or did I go to Internet Tough Guys? I might have went to Internet. I went to Internet Tough Guys, yeah. Dubis Scoobus, lol. And that guy's been having a tough time lately, yeah. Completionist, where is it? I want. These are all like old school people too, like Aaron Hansen, Egoraptor, Game Grumps. I preferred when he was still Egoraptor, and same with like JonTron and stuff. Yeah, AVGN, not really. Like, AVGN is, like, weird where he's a lolcow because he's a fucking moron. Which is weird because, like, SmashJT is an even bigger moron. Like, at least, like, James Rolfe, like, the all of it is just he's not terminally online. Right? Like, his lolcow is that he doesn't fucking use the internet. He's just a fucking boomer. I've also got Ava Chris Tyson. Yeah, is there anything like recent on Jack? Has anything even happened? What the fuck? Okay. It's funny, it's like they're basically like, to be fair, get off the internet like would literally just be the only thing they have to do. That's the sad reality of all of that, right? Like everything about that, they're a massive multi-millionaire. They leave the internet, they won. Right? Like the only thing that that like could like really harm Ava Chris Tyson is if she fucking tries to like popular on the internet again. That's never going to happen. But she lives in a gated community, is a massive multimillionaire, and can basically just live off the money she already earned. I feel like that needs to be said. She literally could just sit on her ass and do nothing all day, and nobody would be able to do anything as long as she doesn't do anything to her own kid and stuff, right? And she could just sit there and do nothing. That's how like I said, he's not bad looking, right? Also, his wife's not like I know like I guess she's chubby, but she's not even fat, right? I do find it funny though. Like this is the guy behind this, right? And this is the wife that is also the guy uses behind this. So he uses a little kid avatar, but like these are the people involved in that. Like there's nothing really wrong with this, obviously. Like I said, lolicon isn't really the issue. I mean, they say that it's weird, but I don't really think it counts. To be honest. But you know, some people apparently think it does on his side. So I figured I'd just announce that all. But yeah, that obviously that means like Grums would be a pedophile too, though. He's in the lolicon as well. And for those who don't know why, like Grums' page is so small, they even go into it in the beginning. He constantly deletes his shit. So if you like here, right? So where is it? Oh yeah, he hasn't had anything good in the past 20 years. That's another thing. 21 years going on now, right? He hasn't had anything remotely of value, right? Like this is why I say, like I actually started to distrust Stuttering Craig for like when he went for simping with Mark Kern and not the Ori dev. So for this, I don't know why specifically. The Ori and the Blind Forest dev is also kind of anti-woke. I mean, it's not really necessarily anti-woke, but he's not pro-DEI, right? And the reason why that's important is, you know, the Ori and the Blind Forest is a Metroidvania, right? Now, you know, I don't know if you know this, but this is what, you know, like Sutter and Craig made his company after, right? The Metroid attack called the Screw Attack, right? This is actually literally what like the entire basis of Stuttering Craig's original gaming company was, right? And of course, Metroid is a Metroidvania, right? You know, it's the same genre that inspired later Symphony of the Night. One of the best games of all time. Not that Super Metroid wasn't also back in its day, right? But like you have Symphony of the Night, and you also have, of course, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, which I played on Twitch, like I said last week. It got me a pretty good amount of followers too. Blasphemous is kind of like a Souls-like and a it's a mix of a Souls-like and a Metroidvania. It's pretty great. We have Ori and the Blind Forest, right? Amazing game, right? And I feel like Craig would love the fuck out of this. And the fact that he's not playing this and he's talking about like all this bullshit. I'm gonna be honest, Craig, just fucking play games, indie games. You would fucking love it. So many good roguelikes. Like, I mean, he's not really a rogue fan, so maybe not, but like so many good Metroidvanias. Like every fucking indie game is either Metroid or like everything like that's like a big indie game is either Metroid or Rogue, right? It's like the two best games from the mid '80s. Just every game is that on the indie games. It's great. You know, my favorite isn't Ori, but it is a furry one. Like Ori and the Blind Forest is furry, but this one is mine, right? That's the listening table. This one's great. Voice acted pretty well as well. Very beautifully, you know, rendered and stuff as well. Just let me show you just a bit of me show you a meme from this game because it's like I'm pretty sure like Craig will fucking cream in his pants if he ever watches this because this is how fucking awesome this is. So yeah, I got to show you this one. So Dust and Lycian Tale Merchant. Right. Now, obviously, you know, he's played this game. I don't know if he is a super fan of Resident Evil 4. I am, obviously. It's like this is the thing, like I defend the remake and people are like, oh, you must have never played the original. I'm like, dog, I fucking shit the Ganados in the original game for breakfast. That's why I'm like, you can literally just do the same tactic in the original. I legit only don't find the original fun anymore because you just need one move to win. Right? It's a great game, but like unless I'm speedrunning it, there's no challenge anymore. Because none of the enemies can really kill you once you figure it out, right? Now I have to get back into that groove. I've died on stream recently because I fucking like forgot like the. Like, I remember I was doing this as a little kid, right? So. I like how he wears purple and introduces himself to you as stranger. That's a first little thing. I have literally never bought those. Oh yeah. Yeah, just all that for just that one line. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah, it's a great game. I just love how like Fidget just references a bunch of dumb shit. But anyway, yeah, let's get back to this stupid video.
Consume product. Oh, big giant cock in the background of a kid's game?
Well, it's not a kid's game, so like that's your fault for assuming it's a kid's game.
Whatever.
Smash, I have a favor to ask you. I just dropped a link in the private chat.
Oh, hold on. I will, but hold on. This is for
Children, yeah.
This is for kids, and it's a phone game. It's on phones, dude.
Well, it's not for kids; it's for adults. It even says it. Right? That's your fault for assuming it's a kids' game based off the genre alone.
Who plays games on phones and iPads?
A billion people actually, and most of them adults. Here's a little top played games of all time, right? So, like by player count, right? So we've got so on console we have right, we have a billion players for PUBG, right? Now you might be thinking a billion players for PUBG is a lot, right? But that's referring to mostly the mobile game. The PC version has nowhere near that. But yeah, also, yeah. And most mobile games have over 100 to 200 million players, right? Let me actually see if I can find like the one where it shows right? If you look at the mobile, like this, right? Like this should kind of show you that this is like what he's about to say is bullshit. Yeah, there's a billion players of just these two games alone. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you combine it with PUBG, there is like pretty much every gamer plays mobile, right? He wants to say otherwise because he wants to ignore the fact that Genshin Impact is a mobile game, right? This is primarily a mobile game. This is Genshin Impact, one of the biggest games right now, right? You might have also heard of Zenless Zone Zero, right? Pretty sure this is on phones. It might not actually be on phones. This is a Devil May Cry clone, so I don't know if they can do it. They got Duet Night Abyss. They got a Warframe clone on it. To be fair, yeah. So no, yeah, it's on Android as well. So you got Devil May Cry clone, right, on mobile phones. And so you're saying that, right? Let me just show you Zenless Zone Zero, right? So he's mad at that. But let's look at another quote kids game on mobile phones from China, right? So let's see. You see if I can do Liacon. Yeah, let's just do this one. Like this is like just so you know, this game is very much Gooner bait. Another Gooner bait. But yeah, apparently mobile games are only for kids, guys. Just so you know, and they aren't action games at all. And they aren't like good action games that have massively high player counts that everyone fucking loves. And none of these are for adults, right? Like SmashJT isn't an out of touch incestuous boomer. He is actually you know, purely knows what he's talking about, right? He's not just Alyssa Mercante, but slightly more conservative. No, he's actually in touch with the kids, right? That's why he hasn't even seen any yet. Like, and he hasn't talked to his daughter in ages. I can tell because he thinks like that this isn't what she's playing right now. Like you telling me your kid's not playing that? Come on. Everyone knows this is why girls got into gaming. All the gay furry shit. Like, you're telling me that, but look, this actually is for kids, right? If I go to Zenless Zone Zero's rating, right? It is T for teen. So this one's T for teen, not 17 plus. This is for 13-year-olds. But now you might not seen that bad for Gooner yet. You remember I chose the least Gooner game. I mean Gooner trailer, right? This is the least Goonery this trailer gets. So just so you know, this is obviously doing some One Piece stuff a lot. You know, with a bunch of furries. Like this is clearly a Sanji character, but more ice instead of fire. You know, if you get your pal Yellow Flash too, he'll actually know what I'm talking about right there. Sanji is literally like a clean, upkempt, fiery chef. This is a clean, upkempt, icy butler. And like he never uses his hands, always uses his feet. That's the same thing with Sanji, right? This is a furry version of Sanji. His ult. It's a Devil May Cry clone, for those wondering. It's very easy, but very fucking fun. I should actually show you like some YouTubers that this amazing game. But yeah, this is the least Goonery, right? We got let me show you the it's this one. This one right here. Yeah, it's just starting right off. Remember, this is actually a kid's game. Unlike the other one, this one actually is. And this is an Eastern kids game. An Eastern kids gotcha game. An Eastern kids gotcha mobile game. A very popular Eastern kids gotcha mobile game. It's actually might be where like all your daughter's money's going, by the way, to Smash, just so you know. This one, like I might play for like 5 minutes just to see like how like funny it is. But like she's definitely playing the shit out of Zenless Zone Zero. She is gooning to some furries and hot women at the age of whatever she is right now. You should look at your phone. She's going to have Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, R Knights, Nikkei Goddess of Victory. She's going to have a lot of those.
Kids, yes. Smash, you forget the whole games for diversity thing. At this point, none of this surprises me. I wish it did.
This is a game for adults though.
This is fucked.
But keep in mind,
But adults playing adult games is fucked.
keep in mind, this was not just a random broadcast. This was broadcast by IGN
to millions of people.
Yeah, so
millions of people.
Well, they have
none of
millions
them
of
were in their chat because no
Right,
one
right.
actually watches their content. But okay,
Right, but theoretically, it's on a millions.
lots of people and maybe in our give you the access denied.
You're blocking.
Oh my god, it did.
You're cutting out a little bit. Say that again.
Hold on one second.
That's all right.
And deleted her Instagram and deleted her LinkedIn. It's gone. You can't even find it anymore. It's gone. Like, it takes something really bad for you to delete a LinkedIn. Like, it's a professional thing for the most part, right?
Right.
So she just didn't like private it. She straight up deleted the thing. It's gone.
right, so they don't want you spying on them. Imagine that. You lost your superpower.
The only person I could see enjoying these games would be Hypnotic because they're all cozy games, and I know he loves cozy games.
He just talked about how he hated that.
I know that was my attempt.
I know I was ruining your joke on purpose.
I mean, this one actually might be something I would play.
They all look like children's games, but now I'm like very confused because the last one we looked at had a gigantic penis in the background. So I'm like, okay, that's not a kid's game.
Here's the thing I want to look at. On the same
It actually isn't a kid's game. He is actually finally being honest there.
There's one stream that I haven't watched yet. I did
Because that one isn't. Now, this one might be.
I actually commented on both streams. I left them a
But like kids games aren't necessarily a bad thing either. Like I play a lot of kids like Ratchet and Clank and shit too, right? Is a kids game. That's awesome. Kingdom Hearts, awesome, right? Like why does it have to like why is a kids game necessarily bad, right? Also saying cozy game, right? This is an action platformer. Well, like what kind of gamer says this is only for kids when this is an action platformer?
because there was one game that they were promoting.
Like yeah, it has like some like little stuff with like a squirt gun. That doesn't mean like only kids will enjoy this one.
Because one of the games that Wings was promoting was a little game called Haven.
Okay.
Which is the same game that was created by the Game Bakers.
Oh, this one has a closed beta test. I gotta check that one out.
That was funded with the French government.
Oh yeah.
But
The other one I'm not checking out. Like that just I'm not interested in a point and click. But like it is for adults. I will defend it on that because I mean I looked it up, right? Even like I will defend it on like the edgy joke stuff too because like 90s shit for kids had far worse. As I kind of pointed out, but
literally, I have tweets of them talking to each other, where it's like, "That's great, Wings," and I'm like, "Why are you talking to yourself?"
That's wild. So they're trying to make it look like they're not related when
yes,
they're
I literally tagged them in it. I'm like, "Why are you talking to yourself?" And their response was to literally untag themselves from the conversation.
Dude. So basically, what you're saying is that would be like me tagging SmashJT live and being like,
and going back and forth and being like,
bro,
"Thank
great
you
job
so
on
much,
your live stream
Smash."
last
wait, are you talking about Wings of Redemption? Are you just figuring out that that guy's a lolcow?
I'd write back, thank you, I really
Like yeah, like that's a documented thing they're doing. So you're repeating it as if like it's a revelation from God. Like no, everyone knows that. Like what the fuck drugs are you guys on? Where have you been? What rock are you've been under? Right? Like isn't that? Let me like look this back up. Right? Pretty sure. Like, was it Griff Wars with Wings of Redemption, or was the other one? Yeah. I guess it's internet famous, or maybe it's Internet Tough Guys. Let me check all. Yeah, okay, it's this one. Like Wings of Redemption, right? Like dude's a massive lolcow, right? Jordan Jordy. Yeah, so yeah, this is apparently like you guys are surprised that this is a piece of shit. So yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure I have it. But literally,
This game looks kind of dope, actually.
deleted them, but you can see them responding to Wings like, "Thank you."
Now, I have to look at the price too for this one, because like that's another thing. But this one looks cool.
Thinking like, why are you talking to yourself? Like, what are you doing?
That's just so disingenuous.
So it's a co-op farming simulator with some nice combat. Yeah, I like this.
Everyone else hate for calling it out, which is wild.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking for it.
You're talking about like if you're talking about Wings of Redemption, like yeah, like an original locale. I don't know, guys. You guys are late to that party.
Happy with me lately. I've been told that they're very, very annoyed with me.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at these games while you're looking for that. I'll just
No, what they actually are is making money off you and milking it.
talk on this, and I'll just say these games. Oh, you did?
I just gotta convert it.
That's fine. Take your time.
Oh, Sadapi.
Talk on this, and I'll just say.
Okay, so it's a demo right now. Okay. So Sadapi. Oh, it's a cooking game. In farming game. Okay, let's see. The demo right now. Yep. Okay, so I'm add that to my wish list and play the demo. Yeah.
These games. Oh, you did?
I just gotta convert it.
That's fine. Take your time. These games. There's no need for this shit. Like, who would pay money for or play any of these? And if you say it's for kids, then why does one of them have a gigantic dick in the back of it?
Well, that one was probably free because it's a mobile game. This one, plenty of people pay money for these. In fact, let me see if I can find one that people have bought before, right? So let's see. You said like the first one was an action platformer. So let's just look at this one. Might have heard of it. It's called Ukulele. Yeah, you know, Ukulele, right? So let's see this game's Steam charts. Right. So you know, right. So pretty decent player count. I remember like this is years later. Now a lot of these retards look at this. They don't really realize that how budgets and money work. So they believe that single player games that don't have the same player count as a massive MMO live service, such as you know, PUBG or you know, something like that, are not good games because they are normie schmucks who only who think that single player games will have that same player count. But then you can look at Resident Evil 4, like Resident Evil 4 Steam charts, right? So we're going to look at the original, right? And like this is going to be important, right? Because they're saying like that single player games not having the same player count as Monster Hunter Wilds is bad. Look at that, right? Most 5,000. Yeah, that's good, right? Also, let me look at Aimer. Right? Let me at least show you like our long standing game. Aimer is right, team just like the gay porn game. Gay furry porn game. made by a piece of shit too, right? Like the guy who made this is actually a literal Nazi, just so you know. Like the guy who made Furry Hitler is probably more ironic, but this guy is a literal fucking Nazi. Like as in like Heil Hitler goose step motherfucker. And a pedophile even. But it's his game, despite what this may look like, is actually very good. Because the budget is $0. So remember, even though this is also free to play, it got Patreon funding. So the budget is $0. And it made hundreds of thousands of dollars off Patreon while it's been being developed. So hundreds of thousands. Actually, let me actually look up how much JSonFX's Patreon was. And remember, this is despite being exposed as a pedophile. Let me see how much it was making, or how much it's making right now, right? So can I actually look that up? They used to tell you. Right now it's $4,000 a month, right? And also he shifted from what he had to AI, so he doesn't even have to pay artists anymore like he used to. I mean, to be fair, this artist is his wife. So yeah, but now like he's using AI generation, making $4,000 a month on a furry porn game. So you might look at that Steam chart and think it's pretty bad, but remember, he's been exposed to so much shit and is a literal pedophile. The entire fandom hates him, and yet he's still making over $4,000 a month. So even after being canceled for being a literal pedophile, a creep, a piece of shit in every regard of the word, Kiwi Farms has a dox on him, every furry has a dox on him, everyone hates this piece of shit. $4,000 a month. That's why like lolcow isn't even a point of defeat, right? Like he doesn't even pay artists anymore. He just uses AI, right? So remember, kids, if you ever want to get rid of a piece of shit, just ignore them. That's how you do it. I am not trying to get rid of people like Grums or anything. I've actually ended up giving up to the fact that Mark Curtin is a lolcow who will never make his game, even if I try to force it down his throat. So unless the class action lawsuit actually puts him in prison, he will just script off of being a failed game developer for the next 20 years too, right? Or at least until he dies. I don't think he has 20 years left, but he's going to continue grifting off the idea that he made World of Warcraft 20 years ago by paying people to do it. He was a wallet for the game. Let's just you can look at his credits. There were multiple team leads of World of Warcraft, and publisher is literally just a wallet. You hire people to do the job. So with multiple team leads, that made him effectively just a producer under a different name. So Mark Kern's entire career off Blizzard was a wallet and an instruction manual designer. So just so you know, that's actually his credited roles on Blizzard. You can look this up. In fact, I will do it right now. Mark Kern credits, right? So these are his credits. All right, so if it's not like a traditional title, remember it's just a word for wallet, right? So founder for Red 5, that's a wallet, right? It's just a wallet. Team lead, remember all of these are wallets though. Producer, wallet, right? He did art for a game in the 90s, and then wallet, manual design, special thanks, right? And then these titles, right? Now you might notice, right? All of these kind of just have these are like a team, right? So he's the wallet who works as the manager of these teams, right? So remember, like these back in the day, games had like different little teams, and these were these titles were given to everyone on the team. So while he was a wallet, he was also called for like these titles for the team. So wallet and instruction manual design and art for one game in the 90s. That's actually his credits. Like, these guys have fallen for that piece of shit for so long, and it's hilarious. You can literally look up why no one would ever listen to Grums who has anywhere near any potential in the industry, right? The closest he's ever gotten to any credit outside of being a wallet for Blizzard is a game called Fat Princess in 2009. So yeah.
Like, I don't understand who.
And remember, that was back when he was like the last thing he worked on was World of Warcraft. So this was before the Red 5 Firefall disaster with the sperm bus.
For any of this.
So he already did a scam before Ember as well.
Smash, the audience for this is literally anybody who they want it to be. That's what
No,
they do.
the audience is no one.
They
because-
want to cater to they're trying. I don't know what they're trying to do here in regards. I think Hypnotic made a great point. I was
What's that?
watching some of his show. He was saying how these people are angry and they know they can't compete in a regular.
What are you talking about? This is a free indie. These are cheap indie games. You're saying they're angry because they can't compete, but they are competing. They're making games and people are playing them. Now, are they making millions of dollars? They're not. They don't need to. They're not budgeted that way. What the fuck are like? These guys are on drugs now.
So what they end up doing is they try to do this in like a tricky, behind the scenes way because they can't actually compete with regular people, and the people who
They do compete with regular people, right? You're talking about AAA and AA with them not competing, but these are indie games, so they don't have to. They only have to compete with can they earn $1 or $2.
the people who are important, the ones that like the ones who actually
Like, notice how he's talking about important and all that with indie games, right? As if that's actually the goal of making an indie game. This is how you know that these guys are out of touch boomers. They have not only have they not worked in the games industry at all, even though this guy should have been. I mean, he went to school to. He apparently didn't learn how to actually make a game, though. It's your fault. You fell for DeVry.
deserve to have their games out there and deserve this stuff, right? Are the 20% of women that was referenced in the video because they were saying 80% is male, that's a problem. He was saying the 20% of women who don't need to have special treatment.
Oh yeah, Malians are starving.
You know, that
It's actually why things cost so much money in the U.S. By the way, a lot of our economy relies on slave labor in Africa, and because of COVID, they have been suffering from a deep famine. So the lithium miners are dead, and so no one's mining the lithium anymore. And so the economy that relies on tech, it relies on that lithium mining, right? And instead of paying lithium miners, they decided to use slave labor. And so the United States, being relied so heavily on that slave labor as a basis for its economy, suffered exactly what the Confederacy did in the 1860s, which was a very poor economy, induced by the fact that they didn't pay people to work. And like I said multiple times, the real issue with slave labor isn't even just moral; it's also economical. Slave labor costs you a lot because you basically put the system in that they eventually will get too frustrated with you to want to service you anymore, and because any slight of frustration against a slave's master, right, is punishable by death. What they do is that incentivizes that, okay, if you're going to do anything, you're going to kill them. So slaves would kill their slave masters because any other crime would be treated with the same punishment. So if they're going to be put to death if they don't escape anyway, they might as well kill him first. So that's what they did a lot of the times. And that's why it was very unprofitable, because they put that incentivization of killing the slave master is better than any other decision you could make if you're tired of the abuse you've been receiving.
the people who literally
So a Jet Set radio game is for kids.
the ones who are equals. These people are not equals. They know they can't.
This looks like a fun Jet Set radio clone, and you guys are like complaining about it.
No one's gonna buy this game.
No, okay. Well, all right. Well, let's see. Let me just look at Jet Set Radio. All right, let's see. Did this flop? No, it did not flop. Okay, so you're wrong.
They're not selling a game. They're selling an ideology.
They're selling Jet Set Radio, retard. Stop. Actually, like, you know, viewing things purely from the lens of polydicks and start viewing it from the lens of a gamer. I would say, right? You're talking about politics this entire time. This game has been making money. You know how I know? Because it's Jet Set Radio clone. And that's going to be making money from the nostalgia alone.
Women, don't you? You want to support women, don't you? Buy our game.
You wouldn't let them fail and go bankrupt. That would make you.
Well, no. What would happen is I would play a game that looks like it's inspired by Jet Set Radio because it looks like it's inspired by Jet Set Radio. And Jet Set Radio is an awesome game.
Bad person. You need to support them.
No, I just like Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
That's the ideology they're trying to get across. But I would almost argue that it's yes, it's obviously that, but I would argue it's also, and even more so, not trying to sell the games to people. Like, that's more of a bonus. What this is making a game, proof of concept, to get money from a grant, to pay them for it, because they know they don't have the talent to succeed in a capitalistic society.
So is that why they're making money then?
Selling it to people. So instead, they get the money up.
But the games, no. See, here's what it comes out to. Smash is just mad that Grums is doing that, and he's mad because he knows that he has to hide that fact from his audience as much as possible, even though everyone has figured it out, including his own fans, who are now suing Crumbs in a class action lawsuit. Just so you know, let me look up that here. Mark Kern class action lawsuit. All right. Right, so let's see here. Type in Ember, don't I? Yeah. So yeah, he's currently about to suffer a class action lawsuit right now. Yeah. Just so you know.
Front from local governments or
See if I
charities
can.
or sponsorships.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Right
pause.
there. Pause the video.
There you go.
That's their sponsor for this gear. It was the same sponsor for last. Remember I showed you the interactive labs? It was like a health potion and the gay rainbow potion. This is one of them. Big Blue Sky games.
So, have you researched Big Blue Sky at all yet?
If you look, there's very little on them, actually.
It's because it's a new developer. Like what?
Really?
Yeah, it's almost as if indie developers are new off the time.
Well, if you look at their thing, let me explain to you, Smash, what these people are, okay?
They are independent developers who make a game. Like, what are you guys on?
They've made 2 games.
Oh, they actually did make 2 games. Okay.
And they're
Okay?
sponsoring this entire event.
And if you go to their about, their partners are a bunch of random people,
All right.
and then that's it. Like, it's this site's so bare bones. I can't even.
So it's almost as if they did compete in the capitalist environment and won. Because they made games while you guys were sitting on your asses, not making games, simping for this retard who gets paid by Russia to not make games, and harasses people. And then, you know, like, this is funny, right? Like, this game has terrible reviews right now because it plays like AIDS. You know, like, this is actually like a thing. Let me like see if it's still around. Monster Hunter Wilds, right? This game plays like absolute AIDS right now. Look at this. Right? 61%. Now, I love Capcom, right? But because of the poor frame rate so many people are getting, this has dropped to 61%. Now remember, I haven't had too many problems. So I was going to play this game with my girlfriend, but she didn't really want to play it, and then I found out she wants to play it, so now I have to get it again next month. Man. Oh well. We're going to play it together on our streams. But anyway, yes. You're simping for that guy. Remember, he's looking at this saying, oh, it's just because he's hot chicks or whatever. That's not why. It's because it's a Capcom in a Monster Hunter game. They always have hot chicks, so like, why would that Like, why would that surprise anyone? A Capcom game isn't going to have ugly women in it, when that's a thing that Capcom has literally never done, right? Like, it's like people are like, oh, the Capcom's getting woke because, yeah. Oh yeah, this thing was kind of funny. Someone did a late of a GTA clone in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's see, what's this? All right. So this is the thing. Like they say, like these things are always going to be massive or whatever, right? And some of that, sometimes they are, but you notice that they keep like it's clear. Another thing that they always refer to a specific style and not like actually anything else. Also, yeah, Mark Curtin is simping for BlackRock, saying that this is actually a proof of anything. Um, this is. Oh man, I tore him a new one for this. Honestly, Kirsha did too, and good because this needs to be said, right? Like, look at this, right? This is actually where like I got the line from that one video I said, where I compared to Freezer, right? Monumental, sure, but not in a good way. BlackRock are the ones stealing all the land from people by buying it up whenever a greasy pedophile boomer like, and I refer to Mark Curran there when they say you, dies, your house will be bought and never sold by BlackRock, who will further ruin the U.S. economy and the lives of hundreds of millions of Americans when you inevitably die. This is how you know this is a grift and they don't care about any meaningful change. Oh, hey, IRL Frieza started calling the Saiyans baboons instead of monkeys. Him blowing up your planet is still going to happen next time on Dragon Ball Z, but at least he changed the word he insults us with when he does it. We won, guys, right? So yeah, that's my big insult to grunge. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's how you know when that is the language to something, right? So yeah, that person's pretty funny. I saw that and I just had to repeat it in my own video. So yeah, that's actually why that video is titled what it was. I thought that was funny. But yeah, so here we have a bunch of stuff. Like they're talking about like Avowed's player count on Steam. Now it's funny because Avowed is not being played primarily on Steam. Like he's saying this. First off, this is a single player game, so that really doesn't count that much. And was it like I'm pretty like it's at 6 million sales when you include Game Pass. Like how much does that even add to, right? So the thing is, they want things to fail that they don't like. They want all games that are made in America to fail. That's really what this grift is. It is a communist ploy by Russia. Do not ever let it be understated. Elon Musk is a communist, as pedophile. That's who they sent for. Remember, I did show that he was a self-admitted pedophile here. So on you guys to defend groping kids in front of everyone and talking about it, role playing as your own 3-year-old son sexually and admitting to it and all that. According to you guys, that's not pedophilic at all. You are not defending a pedophile who just wants to. Elon Musk just wants to fuck kids, right? That is not pedophilic at all.
I can't even find. Is it blue?
Right? Like Elon Musk just wants to fuck kids. There's nothing wrong with that, right, guys? It's really just making jokes in a video game that for adults, but like it's stylized to play off nostalgia for something you played as a kid when you were 40 years ago. So only people who are like in their 40s and 50s would ever actually have nostalgia for that.
Want to go far, go together. The simple yet time-tested notion is the high-octane fuel for everything we do at Big Blue Sky Games. We look skyward, check our check our wings and soar. Interesting. Fully realized communities thriving around the shared sources of joy that pretty much captures what we're budgets.
Okay, so is this just like them not getting how indie games work?
Don't know anything. I didn't do anything. Nothing suspicious is happening. There you go.
Capybara, nice.
I'm telling you, look at this character profile picture here. This This is the definition of no talent.
What? Okay, draw it then, motherfucker.
In a picture. This is not something that I would care about in any game.
So you don't like capybaras, you don't like anime chicks. I mean, you don't like neko chicks, you don't like elves, you don't like horrors, you don't like birds, you don't like mushrooms, you don't like demons? I guess demons, sure.
Also, Smash, I finished getting the couple tweets. You can see the game bakers responding to the deleted Wings tweets.
Wait, where did you put them?
I shared them as a.
I was looking everywhere but here.
Alright, so what's that? What's the problem with that?
Fascinating.
You're entirely too kind, Wings. Thanks, me. You're welcome, me.
Alright.
Wow.
Thanks so much. We're excited to get this game in people's hands, me. That's great, me. I'm so excited for me.
What's wrong with that? Like they're shilling their game, okay? A year ago.
It's like a straight up.
That's
So this is the developers, this is the publisher.
why I think that's why they won't admit it.
But why would they? This is the publisher, this is the developers. They're not hiding anything. What the fuck are you on? Like, yes, the publishers and the publishers are being thanked by the developers for publishing and promoting their video game.
Bugs me.
They're
They won't admit it.
proactively. Well, hold on. They're proactively deceiving the customer here. That's their.
Well, no, they're saying that they are thankful for the publisher doing their job.
Exactly.
Purposefully misleading people.
No, they're not.
And
You don't. So what this is these guys are tired of actually like doing anything useful, like getting rid of DEI, because well, they found out that they're just going to rename it and do it again anyway. So now instead of that, they're going to pretend to care by attacking indie games.
that's what bugs me the most is because it's like, okay, so you're funded by Landfall, and it's like it shouldn't be a problem. Like it's just, I mean, it's shady, right? But like, okay, plenty of companies have a DEI little division that does whatever. Who cares, you know?
Yep.
But it's like, oh no, we have to hide it. We have to make sure that no one knows. It's like, why?
You do because they know that if it was out in the open, they'd be exposed. Right now,
Well, if they were, then where is it?
they got a good thing going where the money in the background.
Well, where is the funding? Right? Where is the evidence of it?
Grease each other's pockets with it, and nobody's the wiser. But once you put it out in the open and say, "Wait, you're paying yourself with grant money right now,"
Well, are they? Where's the evidence of that?
so they block you and hide. It's just curious.
No, they block you because that's not what that is, and you're being a shitster, and they don't really care about shitster and retard. So yeah, they're going to block you because they know what you are. Again, you are a product of incest, Smash. You married your own wife. You married your own mother, right? Your mother is your wife. Okay, so just saying.
They don't like. They're very upset with me. I've been told yes. For any of them watching, yes, I have insiders. Yes, I am watching you. I'm everywhere, and you cannot stop me.
No, they don't really care. What they're going to do is laugh their asses off at the pathetic fat retard you are, which is what anyone should do. I mean, you both weigh 9,000 pounds. You LARP as someone who is a twig, but let's face it, we can hear it in your voice. You have that weird, like, you are morbidly obese thing about your voice, just so you know, like, you're not good at hiding it.
So this is what you were talking about as far as the companies that no one's ever heard of. Who the fuck are these people?
An indie studio, right? Did you know that when id started, right? Nobody knew who id was, right? So id, right? Before id started, that was like how so before id started, John Carmack was nobody, right? And he worked kind of he worked a bit with Apogee, right? But nobody knew who the fuck that was at the time either, right? So, like, this is how you know, like, these guys are complete retards. This is how games used to be. This is when gaming was good. Back when people didn't have all these big publisher names that were massively billionaire companies, right? This is how games used to be published. It was a company that some dude like did laundry at, and then the actual like company that did the development. The development started with 5 or 6 guys, right? So here is the entire team of id at first, right? So we have 4 guys, right? 4 guys, and they were published by 3D Realms, who in 1990, we got to look at the size of Apogee at 1990. They had a few years on their belt. So what was their size in 1990? So 100,000 for the entire company back in 1990. About so when it made the entire game, their publisher was worth less than than like a lot of these companies, probably. And that should be a big red flag for these guys being gamers when they think id is just, oh, they're just some nobody, right? That's just how it works, right? Nobodies can't make games.
Looked into them. They're not. There's like Fat Bard. What is Fat Bard? It's a St. Louis, Missouri audio-based duo, styling in music and sound.
Right, so that's what they do.
Yes, hold on.
They did the music for the game.
Yes, one of them's a woman, and the other one's a dude. Would that be accurate for Fat Bart?
Yep.
How'd I know? How'd I know?
Actually,
Are they both women?
I can't tell.
Oh, it's bad.
I can't tell. One of them looks like a man, I think.
Yeah, it's a dude and a.
Partnered with
It's 2 dudes.
Partnered with Wayne?
2 dudes actually.
Partnered with Disney, LucasArts, Marvel, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, DC.
Yeah, they do music.
I think I would have known they were partnered with Fat Bard.
Wow.
Like Fat Bard in Missouri. Fat Bard.
No, you wouldn't, because you don't actually know how things work. So this is what he's seeing now, is that these are an independent music publisher, right? Right. So if you look at their portfolio, even, right? So, right. Let's see, like a game or movie that I really know. Let's see. Oh yeah, Crash Lands, Freedom Planet 2. A game that I really know the soundtrack is banging on. I know Brawlout, and I'm seeing if there's something else there. Freedom Planet 2 and Crash Lands, right? I'm trying to see if there's anything else I really love. Let's see. So, remember, these are just like people who make music. Oh, Smite, right? So Smite. So we got Smite's music, Brawlhalla's sound design. So we got Crash Lands and Freedom Planet 2. Let's do look at Freedom Planet 2, right? This is like, he's talking about how they're nobodies. Let's look at their work. Remember, the music is theirs. See, what this is going to end up doing is these guys are going to go in a rabbit hole where, like, a lot of their good games were always published by random nobodies, and then all the bad games were when they grouped up into a massive AAA conglomerate. And then, like, their whole argument will just be that what the left has been saying for decades, which is that AAA conglomerates are bad for gaming, and like that's literally always been a thing. Like, the only AAA companies that aren't terrible are communist ones from China. And when you realize that's because they aren't actually conglomerates, because you can't have a conglomerate in China. So it ends up being that the problem is conglomerates, because what a conglomerate is it's like a massive block. Like Disney and LucasArts, for example, are massive conglomerates, right? Warner Brothers, etc., right? And the problem with that is they aren't like so like in order to have something happen right in your studio, you have to go like let's say you're making a Star Wars game, right? You have to go to LucasArts, who has to go to Disney, who has to like look at the an art studio that works with Marvel and Warner Brothers in DC, right, on a DC film as well. And then they have to pass that through like some billing thing, right? And then that all goes into like a approval cycle, and then they go back to Disney, back to LucasArts, back to you, and then you're finally allowed to do the job that you were assigned to do, right? And that's every new task you decide to do because it's a corporate world. They have to have everything in triplicate, right, before you are allowed to do it. And so now you know why gaming sucks right now. Because that's what you're having to deal with, right? And so, yeah, people are talking about how it's like wokeness or whatever. It's actually just jobs that are designed as if they are office jobs for creative studios. And creative studios don't work like office jobs, but office jobs are required to structure for money purposes and not for entertainment. And so it turns out that that's why. Anyone who actually knows anything about the corporate world will back me up on that because that's actually why I left it, just so you know. Yeah.
So wait, are they?
Yeah,
I guarantee this is fake. This has to be a troll.
Wait,
No.
Wait,
Oh, yeah,
hold
let
on.
me see.
Hold on. That's a dude and a chick, but they both have dude names. I'm very confused.
No, they're both dudes. It's just the one dude is very hot, okay? Yeah, some dudes are just very hot. Like, are you acting like a metal band thing is a thing? So, like, let's look at Zach Fendelman, right? I'll see if they're trans right now. Right. Nope, not at all. Very much just but very effeminate. But that's who cares, right? What's wrong with that?
And no, but look at the chick. Look at the chick face.
Zach.
Look at the face. I don't know if that's a woman. If it is, I apologize.
It's not, and they also identify as a dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, they do sound design for games. These people, and they have been. What are their collaborations? You're wondering with with Disney and everything. Oh, they made uh Star Wars voxels music and sound design. They made the Rugrats Adventures in Gameland.
Yeah.
What is this?
A company that makes music for some games. Also, it's funny that they're talking about Disney and Rugrats and not fucking Smite or Brawlhalla. That kind of shows me that they aren't like actual gamers there. Oh yeah, the Vor commercial on YouTube.
That's Rocco.
Yeah, and Invader Zim.
I said they partnered with Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but whoa. I'm so confused. It just showed Nickelodeon stuff and then it jumps this. How does this have any correlation?
I think it just goes
It's because they have worked on multiple projects.
through everything they've done.
Oh shoot! Go back. Go back. Go back.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
To this?
No, wait. Get ready to pause.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay.
Shoot.
What?
That explains it.
What?
You ever heard of a place called Truant Pixels? Truant Pixel LLC?
No.
Oh man, these guys are gonna find out that that people partner up with each other and do what these guys did, but instead of grifting, they made actual games. Yeah, They did, yeah.
Design and consulting. There's just normally this would not be an issue, except for there's a problem with them. You see, they've only made a couple games, and I'm pretty sure if you go and you look in their at their themes section on Truant Pixels, you will see who they're partnered with, and you might recognize a couple names there. Smash, you go take a look.
What? Sweet Baby Inc. Maybe? Okay, who cares?
They're a very bare bones site, by the way, run by 3 people, but they pop up around a lot.
Ohio? Alright.
Take a look at their themes, Smash, and then scroll.
Konami, Capcom, Gearbox, Nexon, Disney Interactive, Naughty Dog, Tripwire. Okay. Done. Runic. Yeah, there's a lot of good game developers.
Naughty Dog, Konami, Tripwire, Capcom, Gearbox.
Oddworld! Oh man, I love Oddworld Inhabitants.
Sega.
Telltale. Interesting.
I mean, I don't think these people. I can't really find what they do.
It says it right here. They do GUI themes. PlayStation game. It says it right there.
Consulting. So I think they consult on digital design more than just like. I don't think they're like.
They do GUI consulting.
Let's make it more diverse.
They do right here. We've been involved with the GUI themes. It's that graphic user interface, right? For PlayStation family game consoles since PlayStation 3.
Yeah, but I think they're more graphics based. But I've heard this name around a lot, so it concerns me seeing it pop up here.
Yeah, so what happens is they, in order to make big games, a lot of studios will partner up, right, and huddle up a lot, and this is how that happens.
You know I do a lot of deep dives into this stuff pretty much.
So, like, another thing with, like, the AAA conglomerates is they don't actually develop games at AAA studios anymore. What they do is they hire third parties to make the games, right? They don't. There's no like dedicated game development studios. There really hasn't been in 20 years, right? So what you do is you have partners that huddle up on different resources, right? And this has been a thing in both the West and East since I was a kid. Right? I want to know if it like ever actually was differently. Right, because like they did that even like with id, right? id was an independent game developer, but they huddled up with Apogee, and Apogee had connections to like Nintendo and shit. So.
Oh yeah, I know.
What in the world?
Like this is the thing. Like if you like another one is like Hell of a Boss or Has Been Hotel. Yes, the animation is independent, but there are like offshore things for certain aspects of the show that they do. Yeah.
These places are nothings. Kitten Cup?
Well, no, they aren't nothings. You think they are because you don't know who they are.
And they're all, this is what I was going to say real quick. These are all from like, they all started around the same time period during the pandemic when there was.
No, they didn't. Like, PlayStation 3 isn't pandemic, it's fucking 2007. What the fuck drugs are you on?
Funds just being doled out. If you just have a 2-person company for consulting, they would just give you a grant for hundreds.
Yeah, but that's not when Truant Pixel started. Pixel LLC, right? You can just look at it, right? It's in Ohio, right? In Ohio, the games. So it started pre-pandemic. Even if we like go on the things that they go on their games, it was 2016. But you can actually go before that too. And yeah, because it's the PS3 era, right? So PS3 era would have ended in about 2014. So yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, 2008 actually was when they started.
So I feel like all of these just
actually, I would stop you there, Smash, and say I don't think we have to say allegedly anymore. I mean, I just proved the game bakers got a grant from the government, so I mean, we
Right.
kind of have proof now. I mean, I'm not saying all of them are,
I'm
but
not
I
saying
mean,
all of them, but I'm just saying it's just curious. When you start giving out free money for nothing, people will show up there and be like, "Yep, what do I need to do? I'll create my own business. I'll set up shop. I'll make an LLC. Me
And what's the problem with that?
and my friend will do this together, and you just give us a grant, and we'll put some bullshit out there, and we're good to go." And now that money is drying up.
Well, it's not actually drying up. If it was drying up, then why are they still around?
Lights have turned back on. The cockroaches are starting to scatter, and we're seeing it right now in real time. The game industry is falling apart because it was being held up by wishes, hopes, and dreams. There was no actual talent behind it.
If that was the case, then how come like these games are still making money? So this is going to come out in March 2025. It's going to make some bank. I know because I'm going to buy it. That one looks fun.
Shit.
yeah.
You've got a long to-do
No, you guys just don't know how games work. This is kind of
groceries right
funny to see in real time, though.
Curious, what's going on here? Hold on, I'm doing some snooping.
So people like this. Okay, I like cooking mechanics.
I'm just watching this because I have not seen this yet. This is probably the most promising looking game out of everything we've seen so far, but still not a game that I'd care to play.
Well, I mean, this one I actually don't think is anywhere near the most promising. I think the Jet Set Radio one that you guys were riffing on was the most promising.
Because
But here's the thing. Like, I don't have. I think you'll agree with me on this, Smash. Like, I don't mind that these games exist. Like, if you make a game and you want to market it, that's cool. The thing is, they're marketing it on ideology, and that's what's terrible about it.
What's about ideology here? This game looks fine.
the argument being made here, because I do not disagree with you. I'm
I
saying
said you would agree with me.
yeah. I'm just saying that like
I don't even think there is an ideology being marketed here. It's just women are making games.
game, it should be to sell that game, and like you said, this is more for ideology. It's like pushing what they want to see themselves.
This is Candy Crush.
Yep.
Well, yeah, this is a pretty shitty looking game. I'm not going to apply that. I don't like Bejeweled clones. It's funny they say Candy Crush and not Bejeweled, when Bejeweled is like Candy Crush is a ripoff of Bejeweled, not the other way around.
Don't get me started on God of War. I can't. I'm sorry. Don't get me started on God of War. I said nothing.
But
Not allowed.
none of these games push the industry further or do anything that hasn't been done.
Because they're indie games, why would they have do the AAA shit?
Done before. That's the problem that I see with it.
No, that's not a problem. They're not supposed to. They're cheap games that you play for nostalgia or just relaxation. If you want something to push boundaries, you got to have millions or even billions of dollars behind it. These are not a fraction of 100,000 at most. You know, a fraction of that at most.
What is this?
A visual novel.
They're all text adventures.
Oh, now these guys have just entered the arena of hating on visual novels, which will alienate about 10% of their audience right away, and another 30 to 40% of their audience over time. This is a funny thing. Like, just by doing this and going after indie studios, they have just shown that they aren't actual gamers anymore. This is really cool. Thank you. I didn't know you would do this so readily. I definitely didn't expect it today, but hey.
Someone in the chat during this asked if they could date the cat.
Yikes.
So I guess they have
wait.
an audience.
Hold on. Did you see that? Did you see that?
What?
The cat? The cat's name is Fred, and he has pronouns.
Yeah, it's he, him. It's a cat. Meow.
Yeah, so it's a male cat.
With
This
a
is so
tie.
weird.
Yeah, they have first grade English concepts tied to the character. Yes, believe it or not, when you believe it or not, right? First grade English applies to not just people but also animals, right? So there are male cats, which you call them he and him, right? So I had a cat, right? Which we called we called him her princess, right? Now you notice I said her, right? I didn't say it. It was a her. This cat was a girl, right? So we applied she, her pronouns to this female cat who is also named Princess. Now this cat is named Fred, so I would assume that the cat is a boy. So he/him refers to boys, right? So this cat is a boy, and so by boy named Fred, you refer to him as he or him when using pronouns or first grade English concepts as a replacement for proper nouns such as Fred or the cat, which would be a more of just a common noun, right? Well, I'm teaching you like basic English in this video, aren't I?
At some point during that, I think if you could look at the live chat, I'm so sure that someone in there said, "Can we date the cat?"
Yeah, so plenty of people actually do want to play the game, and they also want to date the cat.
Wait, that face! Wait, that face! Wait! The comments are turned off?
Comments turned off.
They
No
turned
comments.
off. No, look at the live chat replay. Open panel. See that? There I am. Echo, echo.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Echo. Like you see, no one's in this chat. No one is in this chat.
Look at what the Proctofile wrote. Six chatters.
Chatters.
A new record.
Yes. No one else was chatting.
Yeah, okay, it's a stream about indie games. Right, the budget is very small, so they don't actually need to do anything.
There it is. There it is.
Can we date the cat? See, I remembered it. Can we date the cat?
This is something.
There's your market for that game. There you go.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like everyone knows that weebs and furries are the ones who play visual novels. Yes.
Wheelchair. Wait. Someone's mentioning the mermaid. Wait, we gotta go back. The mermaid's in a wheelchair.
The mermaid is in a wheelchair. The mermaid
Are
is
you
in a wheelchair.
serious? That's
Look
such
at that.
a terrible.
Is that a mermaid or a dragon, though?
No offense.
Why would the mermaid be in a wheelchair? It's a.
Because she
Because why not?
go out and land, Smash.
Oh my god.
She's a mermaid.
I mean, how do we know she's a mermaid? Like, where's the telltale sign she's a mermaid? This looks like a nymph or something, right?
Help me with this.
Like this doesn't look like a mermaid. This isn't half woman, half fish, right? Oh no, it actually is. Okay, never mind. It is a mermaid. But I'm like, I didn't really see the fish scales there.
What? It's the disabled mermaid.
I mean, I think it's not disabled. She just can't walk on land, right?
It's actually just how it is. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Well, I mean, it's not just how it is. She just doesn't have legs. So why would she not have one? You know?
There is
Like, would you rather her like constantly just crawl like a zombie from Resident Evil 2? I mean, to be fair, I would actually. I actually would, but because that would be funny as fuck. But see, you know, that's the thing, right? It's a visual novel, so you're supposed to want to fuck them, not you're not supposed to want to anything else. You're supposed to want to fuck them, right? So it's more fuckable if she's sitting down than if she's like crawling like a Resident Evil 2 zombie or whatever, right?
level of entertainment.
And by Resident Evil 2, I mean like all the Resident Evil games had crawlers, but I'm trying to appeal to their sensibilities that they've only ever played modern day AAA slop, because apparently that's all it seems that they remember. They remember like some games that were big in the 80s and AAA slop of today. I have to assume that they've only ever played Resident Evil 2's remake and never any of the other games. They wouldn't know about the fact that crawlers used to be killed by one hit when they try to attack you, and then you just stomp their heads off.
And then this is another one. This is what they do.
Wait. Pause. What happened?
What is what they do?
You lose mom or dad?
This is what I was gonna say. This is what you do when you don't have talent. You make a game based off of, oh, let's just tear at someone's emotional heartstrings and just be like, oh, it's an emotional journey. It's a journey game through your emotions.
I mean, she's at hospice. Okay.
Game. What are we doing?
Well, I mean,
I think that can be done well, but again, marketing it this
well, I mean, I don't see the gameplay yet, so I don't know yet. Where's the
I
gameplay?
agree with that, but not like
no,
this.
but like there's like a lot of there's a game I forget the name of it. There was a game that was very popular for a while. I
Undertale. I know it is.
That was
Life-
about was a
Life is
journey
Strange?
about it. No, it was about like a journey of some guy who had cancer. You know?
Oh, that's a different game. Okay, I thought it was like talking about the heart-throbbing part.
Marketed it that way, but it was like a really powerful game. Either it was about cancer or was about like maybe it was about like Alzheimer's or something. I don't remember exactly, but like they really did like a really good job with it. Like they
All right,
really
I couldn't help
made
but
the
laugh. I couldn't
Hmm.
help but laugh. You said it's about Alzheimer's, but I can't remember.
yeah, that's fair.
Sorry.
I will give you that one. That was an unintentionally funny joke by Master DS. Notice that's by Master the TDS though, not Smash.
Short Fat Otaku's in the chat.
Yeah. What's up, Dev? Shout out to Dev. Great video that he shared with me. The Quiet Things, based on a true.
Wait, did it just say it will kill me?
Wait, it did?
It just said it will kill me. Am I wrong?
Am I evil?
Look at me when I'm speaking. Oh, it's like an abuse game. Wait, what? What?
It's a razor blade by the bathtub.
The Quiet Things. I have to get out of here.
If I don't,
it will kill me.
All right. A demo out now on Steam. Please wishlist if you like it.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna play that demo then. There we go. It's almost as if like these guys are shitting on stuff without even trying it, and I'm going to try it before I do anything.
Before we go on, have you seen anything interesting yet that you would be excited to go run out and pick up and play?
I mean, the one that looked like a furry like bit of Crash Bandicoot was interesting. It was the second game.
Well, you cut up, but I'm guessing you said no.
Not in this stream.
Not in this stream. Okay.
In the Games with Wings one, I was kind of curious because there's one game that I really like the premise for the game. I really do, and I got the game because it looked really good, and then it just had something so stupid and so jarring in it that I haven't been able to play it since, and it really sucks because it's my kind of game. And I really, really wanted to play it, and I can't play it anymore after that.
Oh, nice! You ruined your entire game experience because you're a political spurg.
Remember what it was called?
Oh, I know what it's called. I'm just trying not to name it.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me look at it. Wing. What is it called? The big blue sky. Big blue sky games, right? Happy Castaway, maybe? Is that it? Well, that's a different thing. That's just the. I guess blue. Happy Castaway? What's wrong with that one?
Laugh. So, let me ask you just before we go on: have you seen anything interesting yet that you would be excited to go run out and pick up and play?
When I was kind of curious because there's one game that I really like the premise for the game. I really do, and I got the game because it looked really good, and then it just had something so stupid and so jarring in it that I haven't been able to play it since. And it really sucks because it's my kind of game and I really, really wanted to play it, and I can't play it anymore after that.
And you don't remember what it was called?
Oh, I know what it's called. I'm just trying not to name it.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
But no, you don't know if you've heard of the game called Pacific Drive.
Vaguely familiar. I haven't played it, but I believe I've heard of it. Yes.
It's a good game. It's well made. You get to drive around as a car. It's like a car survival game. And it was a really stupid thing, okay? It is not a thing that's like in your face or anything like that, but I couldn't do it. It had a point where you could put like stickers on your car to customize it. Oh, you want to pause for a sec because she's about to reveal her cat, her disabled cat, I think.
Disabled cat.
I mean, yeah, cats can have disabilities. Like, there's cats that have like injuries and diseases that cause things. Yes.
Well, it comes up at the end. At the end, she brings up her cat, like right at the end, and
Oh,
he
there it
looks
is.
like he's traumatized.
Let me skip ahead. Let me skip ahead because
He looks like he's traumatized. I feel so bad for that cat.
On social media for updates on these amazing games, and don't forget our next showcase.
notice, by the way, notice how they literally blocked out the number of followers because it was probably so embarrassing that they literally don't even show you.
I mean, okay.
Well, let's see. Let's see how many followers they have.
Well, that's not really a good metric anyway. Twitter is retarded. I mean, the biggest guy on Twitter right now is Elon Musk, and he's a child molester. So, and you guys all follow him. I know because he forces you to. That's why he's the biggest guy. Oh, kitty.
4,000.
That's not bad. How many are real people?
Oh, look at that cat. I feel so bad. He looks like he's drugged.
Looks tired. That's what he looks like.
He's like, kill me. Oh, I feel so bad. He's like, smash that face. And the cat was like, I want to.
I will say that the artwork for this looks like shit, but
Please let me out here.
that's sort of the thing, right? Like, I don't really care much about like their political views. I'm just like, hey, some of those games look good. A lot of them didn't. So I'm like, okay. And this is the fun little thing about this, right? They're shitting on like, what was it? This, right? This looks awesome.
Private it. She straight up deleted the thing. It's gone.
Well, like, what's wrong with this, right? Like this, it's a little platform. So Murray's Wildwood, right? Got your little squirt gun mechanic too, right? You can sort of like a like Ratchet and Clank meets Mario Sunshine, right? Super Mario Sunshine. So it's like kind of like that. Like you got like the squirt gun. You can get off goop and stuff. It's a platformer. You got little quirky characters. Honestly, it's mainly Super Mario Sunshine, but there's a bit of something. Maybe it's not Ratchet. There's a bit of something else here, but like it's basically primarily Super Mario Sunshine, which is a pretty good game. I don't know like why they're like, oh, you should look at it. I'm like, okay, you guys just shat on Super Mario Sunshine, but all right. Hundreds of millions of fans of gamers are like, what? You don't like Super Mario? You don't like our Mario game? Fuck you, right? It's like I know it's like you can argue pancakes and waffles, but I mean, yeah, like this game already apparently had an original, so. Apparently, like there's a series of these games, right? Oh, it's free. So this game is even free to play. It's getting a sequel. Yeah, people like it. It looks like so. I don't know. I think like to be fair, that one does look the most fun. Of the ones covered in this thing, the other one that looks fun is this one right here. Like Sadaf, right? Sadaf, right? So Sadaf and Murray are the ones I would play. And then maybe All Systems Dance. I gotta look into that one. So let's see. All Systems Dance, right? This looks like Jet Set Radio, so I gotta. Yeah, it looks like kind of like a Jet Set Radio clone. So now my thing, of course, is with like things like this is it going to be like actually just respectable of my wallet as well? If it is, I'm fine with that. But that's the thing, like primarily the big thing with a lot of woke AAA games is like I can just show you right here. Look at that, right? So this game is fine for $20, right? I've said that many times. But how much does it cost, right? So $90 for the premium, right? Plus $30 for whatever the fuck this bullshit is. So $125, right? For a game. Now, yeah, it's like see, they're even saying like just get it on Game Pass. It's cheaper, it's more optimized, it's just a better experience overall. So they're shitting on a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I like this, but remember, I got this on the Fit Girl repack, right? I didn't pay for it, so I'm enjoying it for the free that I paid for it, right? So yeah, I don't think AAA really has been worth money from the like Standard West for a while. Like even Capcom went downhill. I think the only thing AAA I'm going to get now that I'm going to really enjoy. Obviously, I'm going to enjoy Warframe. Also, remember when like these guys tried to shit on this game, right? This game that you had what's her face try to shit on this game and on Father's Day weekend, right? And then what happened was like she tried to shit on this on Father's Day, right? And then also for those wondering why this thing exists, right? This is after an incredibly shitty update, right? So let's see where this is. Right? Yeah, this is right before they put Rebecca in charge. This is the 2000, right? September 2022 for frame. September 2022. Let's like what the update was, right? Oh yeah, I remember this. Right, this was the Call of Duty update. Yeah, that wasn't that bad. Why is that the review bomb date? Like I would have assumed it would have been like this date, right? This one was the worst. Right, this one right here, right? This is the date that they released what was that called? That fucking new ship mode that they have. Anyway, right? So anyway, they tried to shit on it 2024 June. July, right? June. So yeah, it didn't really pan out in the reviews. And another thing that to look at that about, right? So they tried to get an own on it, right? And the thing that happened there, right? So what happened was they were talking about Father's Day bullshit, and saying why can't you celebrate Father's Day today or Men's Mental Health? Now they celebrate Men's Mental Health when Canada does every November. It's called Movember, which is Men's Mental Health and Men's Health, month, right? Internationally. And the other thing that they did was, of course, Pride Month in June. And they also celebrated Father's Day with the update that they did. Because here's the thing, like that Hibachi Gamer tried to, dog on it. But the story, right, was a Father's Day update. So, yeah, fun fact. When things, like certain things, like the anti-woke tries to go after, it always fails because it's just like this is like what woke people actually love, and this is the thing, right? When it's AAA, you tend to have a bit of an argument there because AAA, is obviously, the left, like the left that the wokeness comes from is, very much against AAA. I mean, how many AAA companies like Ubisoft, for example, are basically run by sex pests who abuse women, right? Same with Blizzard or Riot as well, right? So all these companies, these big AAA companies, abuse women and kids, and then wokeness comes to basically make them all corpses. Effectively, is what that really ends up being. The entire point of wokeness in those games is to make them not sell. So they make the game shit, and they also drive the price up so no one wants to play them, right? So for most studios, that's been a thing. Now, Obsidian, it's just a kind of mid game, but it's making money because the game is still pretty fun, right? And that's sort of the thing, right? Like most of the whole woke brigade for ruining games actually literally was because the games companies needed to be ruined, and people weren't going to let them fail appropriately just by being sex pests and rapists and stuff. So they were like, hey, let's ruin their product, and so that's what they did. That's not actually what happened, but it would be funnier if that's what happened, because then they'd be like, oh shit, they did a base coup against AAA and won. Right? But no, that's not what happened, but it would have been poggers as fuck if it did. Anyway, there we go. These guys are doing the nothing burger dance again for the 50 trillionth time. Let's just enjoy that, Let's just enjoy their wallowing in their own semen and misery as we play good games and even make good games while they worship a child molester and a failed game developer who was a wallet for good games and hasn't been relevant in 20 years.